What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and happy Boxing Day. What a great Boxing Day it was. I mean, just 3-0. So great. Before I get started on the review, though, I did want to show off some of my presents for Christmas because, yeah, I got some pretty awesome presents for Christmas. So, first of all, we got this nice jacket. I mean, it feels nice. It is nice. It feels kind of official. You know, I feel like I'm actually wearing a jacket that players would wear before the game. Also, another jacket, but this one's more traditional, just straight up. If I can put it on right, straight up Chelsea blue. Just another jacket that kind of makes me feel official. Feels like this is something the players might wear. And it's funny because these are the only two Chelsea things I got. Unfortunately, my dad actually got the training jersey itself and the training pants, the Carabo or Carabao. I don't know how to pronounce it. But yeah, just I wanted to share that with you guys because a lot of you guys are watching my videos, at least from what I can tell. So I like to show it off. But anyway, on to the review. 3-0 over Bournemouth. A great result, obviously. Extends our run to 12 wins, which not only is becoming increasingly more the highest winning run that Chelsea has ever been on in the Premier League, it's about to break the record for the highest consecutive win run that any Premier League team has ever been on. Arsenal had 14 back in, I can't remember what year it was now. I want to say 2009, but that may be wrong. But anyway, so we are getting close to breaking that record. We've already broken our own winning streak record. It's a good time right now. It feels really good. So is any problem at all? Well, first of all, today, normally a problem I have, the ref, not a problem today. I mean, yes, there were some issues. If they had scored off that free kick that he called at the end of the first half, where it's like, okay, advantage, 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 he has the shot, okay, bring it back. When the shot was terrible, it's like, seriously, you giving him a second chance? But other than that, I mean, the referee wasn't bad today. Bournemouth put on a good show today, so the fact that it wasn't like we had an easy game, we actually had to perform well against a team who played very well. They didn't come and sit back and just like, oh, we're scared of Chelsea, we're not going to play today. No, they actually came to play, and that's always a good thing, especially from a neutral standpoint. I mean, obviously, from a Chelsea standpoint, I wouldn't mind if a team kind of rolled over and said, whatever, and we just got to run over them. But whenever a team actually does come to play, it does help because we get to see, okay, this team is clearly playing very well. I mean, the Tottenham game is the best example of that. Tottenham didn't just roll over. Man City had their issues, so we kind of ran over them. With Tottenham, though, we actually had to play well. We had to fight and grind out a result. With this one, Bournemouth, they played well. We had to grind out that first goal, get a very, very great shot off. So, yeah, you can kind of see where if the opposition doesn't really come to play, it can make for kind of a boring game. A good result for us, obviously, but it can be boring. So the fact that Bournemouth came to play, also a good thing. And just the performance from the team all around was really pleasing. I mean, you go player by player, Courtois had to make a couple really amazing saves today and pulled them off. And he's been doing that, obviously. I mean, this is not the first time I'm talking about Courtois, obviously. But yeah, I mean, great saves today. There are a couple that I'm just like, crap, they're about to score. We're about to lose our clean sheet today. But no, Courtois steps up, makes the saves. Defensively, maybe a little shaky at times. I would say mainly it felt like they were diving into challenges a few too many times, and part of that could be because normally you've got Conte just running, running, running everywhere. Today, Fabregas and Matic, while doing well defensively, don't run nearly as much as Conte does, so they're not constantly in the Bournemouth players' faces. If Conte were out there, that wouldn't be an issue. So that may be why the defense felt like they needed to go flying in and try to win the ball back, and it ended up working against us because now all of a sudden you come flying in, they touch it past you, and now you're behind the ball. I think the best example I can think of is David Luiz came running out trying to get, I think it was Adam Smith, and he touched it past him, and all of a sudden David Luiz is just nowhere. He's just way out there. So you can kind of see where there were moments of indecision or poor decisions from the defense, but like I said, Courtois steps up on those moments and sort of just takes the chance away. And so I think that's what really works today is that you can look at the defense and say, oh well, there are issues here and here and here. You could see Cahill stepping out here. You could see Cahill not tracking back here. You can see David Luiz getting too aggressive there and stepping out. But when you put it all together with Courtois and how well he did, it almost kind of feels like there wasn't a problem today because Courtois did so well. It felt like the defense did well too. So I like how the defense and the keeper are working together now. They feel like a unit instead of, oh, the defense just left Courtois all alone back there and now he has to try to make the save by himself and feeling very disjointed. Uh, of the three, though, I will say once again, Azpilicueta still our best defender, still making great challenges. I don't know, I don't know how people aren't noticing this and how he isn't like running for team of the year for defense because he's an incredible defender. He does it so well. Anyway, up into the midfield, you got, like I said, Madge and Fabregas. They did well today. I would say Matic had a few moments of nervousness. I thought I don't know what was going on, but there were times when he had the ball and instead of just making a simple pass, he does something a little bit strange and all of a sudden he's almost given the ball away or he does give it away and now all of a sudden Bournemouth have a chance to counterattack. So I don't know what was going on with him, but defensively he did well. Fabregas once again showed he wants to try to work his place into the team. He put in some good defensive challenges. He played some great balls forward, set up our first chance of the game by taking a quick free kick to Pedro. So, yeah, I thought it was a very good performance overall from Fabregas. Matic, good performance defensively, needs some work going forward and just moving the ball around a bit more. Wingbacks, Alonso and Moses. Alonso has been kind of dropping off. I'd say he had a slightly better game today, but overall, he's not doing as much as he has done in the past. And then defensively, he's still getting caught out. I think that was kind of the issue for a while, is that we brought Alonso in, and he wasn't really a fullback. He wasn't an out-and-out fullback. He's not very good defensively. He can use the ball very well, but when you put him one-on-one in a situation where you got somebody who dribbles very well, like Jack Wilshere in this case, he's not very good at standing him up. He's not very good at making sure he doesn't get past him. He gets caught out too much. He gets caught one-on-one, misses out on a challenge, and all of a sudden he's beat, and now they're running at Cahill, and that's always a scary situation. So I don't know if possibly we're looking for somebody to replace him, maybe a bit better. If maybe Conte is just working with him and training, trying to get him to be better in this. But yeah, today definitely quite a few times where Wilshere did catch him out. But he still played okay. It's just of the entire team, I would say right now Alonso is our weak link. On the other side, however, Moses definitely stepped it up today. For the past couple games, it's felt like he hasn't really been involved. And I've wondered, is that because we're not getting the ball out to him, or is it because he's not putting himself in the right situations? Today kind of showed it's because we're not getting the ball to him, because he's in the right places almost all the time, and you get the ball out to him, and it's dangerous. He's running at the defense, he's passing inside, he's cutting inside, and creating space for people. So I don't know why we haven't been using him as much in the past few games as we have been before that, but today used him a lot more and definitely was a lot more involved. Not really anything significant like leading to a goal or anything like that, but it definitely felt like he was putting pressure on the Bournemouth back line, and it felt like their wingbacks couldn't really do much because the wingback on that side had to cover Moses so long. So yeah, you could kind of see where he's creating a lot of stuff and just really putting pressure on the other team. Up to the front three, This is where it was kind of a question of, okay, Costa's not in. What are we gonna do? Is Batshuayi gonna come in? I said last week I thought it was a possibility that he just goes with Hazard as a false nine and then Pedro and Willian. That's what he did today. Now, is this a good idea? Well, we won 3-0, so you can kind of say, well, look at the result. Obviously, it was a good idea. And this is going to be something I will talk about a little bit later because right now I do want to focus on just the performances. So Pedro and Willian, first of all, Pedro really stepped up today, got himself 2 goals, but not just that. His play with the ball was so much better today. Yeah, there were a couple times he was maybe a bit too selfish, maybe should have moved it about a bit more. But I think what he did today was he worked hard to get the ball back, and then when he did have it, he worked hard to hold possession of it. I think that's been one of his issues is that whenever he does have the ball, he's not holding possession very well because he gets knocked off or he tries to dribble through too many people and still does that a couple times. But overall, it was a much better performance from him. It felt like he was much more confident on the ball. Willian on the other side didn't do as much as Pedro, but still was quite involved. Probably should have had a goal. I think it was Hazard laid it off to him and just pretty much one-on-one with Borge and hit it right at him. But Willian's main contribution today was just he was a constant threat with his speed. It felt like the Bournemouth defense had to keep chasing him because if you let him go, he has enough speed to just blaze right past you. So a couple times it was Cook having to get across. I can't remember the other defender on that side because Cook was in the middle and Francis was over there. I can't remember who was on Willian's side, but whoever that was had to constantly stay on him and just keep him marshaled the entire game. He did a good job of it, but by the end you could kind of see the constant running on that side was starting to open up more space and just really wear on the Bournemouth back line. And then, of course, Hazard up at the false nine striker area showed his class again. And I want to elaborate a bit more on a joke that I made. I think it was last game about Ozil because I talked about how Hazard, even in games where he's not producing an assist or a goal, he's still doing so much that you can see his influence on the game. And I said, unlike other players, Ozil. The main difference that I see in these two players is that whenever Ozil is not in a game, it's like you didn't even realize he was even playing in that game. Because he hasn't been doing this recently. Actually, he did in the last game. But you look at Arsenal's performances, they kind of ebb and flow with Ozil's performances. If he has a good game, Arsenal normally does well. If he has a bad game, Arsenal normally don't do well. And you can kind of see that. He fades in and out of games. Hazard did that last year, which caused a lot of people to say, is he just a one-time thing? This year he's shown he has a lot more quality than that because unlike Ozil, who, unless he's scoring or assisting, you don't notice he's in the game, with Hazard, you just constantly notice him. Whether he's on the ball and just threatening the defense, or he's running in behind and it's causing the defense to get really worried, and now they're flying all over the place. They're trying to get organized again because Hazard's just throwing them off their game. He does so much, and most of the time it takes 2 or 3 defenders on him to really shut him down. If you don't put 2 or 3 defenders on him, it's a one-on-one situation. Francis trips him up in the box. He gets a penalty for it. So I love the fact that we have a player like Hazard who can influence the game even without getting an assist or a goal. He could do so much just on his own and really create a whole lot that can sort of throw the other team off and cause them to drop off, get tired and all that stuff. Now, let's talk about the issues in the game because, like I said, everything's going great right now. There got to be a couple issues to talk about because not everything is perfect. It's great, it's not perfect. And one of the biggest issues I have today is the subs were just way too long in coming. I love the subs. The subs I thought were really good ideas, good choices. But why wait until the 80th minute for the first one, and then the 88th minute for the second, and then finally putting Batshuayi on in the last Not even the last minute. He pretty much put him up there when the 90th minute happened, and then they raised the board for 3. That's my biggest issue today, because we have a game coming up in a few days. So you kind of want to rest some of these players. You don't want to force them to play the entire game. Now Pedro, that makes sense. After he gets his yellow, he's suspended for the next game. Play him the entire game, sure, that's fine. But why not bring Chalobah on sooner? Why not bring him on in the 75th minute when it's 2-0? Things are fine. You can see maybe Fabregas is getting a little bit tired, so maybe bring Chalobah on for him. But no, you wait, and then bring him on for Willian. Okay, I guess if you want to rest Willian for the next game, that's fine, whatever. Waiting. 88th minute, bring Aina on for Moses. Okay, that's a good sub. Aina's young. We want to see him get some more time on the field. Give Moses a break. Although I would have preferred to see Alonso get a break because Moses has been subbed off in the past few games. So, not a great sub, but yeah, a good sub. Just why wait so long? And then Batshuayi steps up. I'm just like, he has no time. And here's my problem. I understand why he didn't play Batshuayi today. I understand that he doesn't feel like he's ready for it yet. Makes sense. But he's never going to be ready if you keep bringing him on for 2 minutes. It's never going to be his time. He's never going to have his ability to step into a game and do something if you only give him a couple minutes. And that's the biggest issue I have right now. And while you might say, okay, that's not a big issue, you're right, it's not. If the biggest issue I have is one player's not getting time, but we're still winning, yeah, I shouldn't be complaining about it. But from a standpoint of a fan who sees this player who is obviously wanting to get out there and is still being patient about it too. And that's the big thing that I think is making this situation a little bit more frustrating for me, is that it's not like this player is doing anything to force his way off the field. Like you see some players complaining about their time. They're complaining, oh, I should be playing more, blah, 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 blah. As soon as the game is over, Batshuayi gets onto Twitter and says, great result today, guys, and then something about keep your head up or something like, something saying like he's going to stay positive about this. He's going to talk about the fact that we won. He could talk about the fact that, oh, I didn't get any playing time at all. I came on after the third goal for 2 seconds and the whistle blow and then that's it. But no, he takes a positive approach. He's being very positive about this in this time of not playing at all. So I don't understand why he's not being rewarded for it. And that's why I have an issue here. Why is he being punished? Is he being punished, or is this just Conte doesn't see that he's not handling this situation well? I don't know the whole story, obviously. I'm way on the outside. I'm not inside the club at all. I don't know what's going on behind closed doors. But from a fan standpoint, from the standpoint of somebody who is seeing all of this and wants to see Batshuayi get his chance, I am frustrated that he only got like 2-3 seconds maybe on the field. It was disappointing, and it's unfortunate because the rest of it was so good. The performance overall was really good. The 3-0 win is really good. The fact that we're 7 points clear at the top of the table right now is really good. So, yeah, I hate to be the one to complain about it and say, oh, well, this should be handled better, but it is something to be talked about. It's something that needs to be touched on because it is a big deal. Right now, Costa gets hurt. If he's hurt for, who knows, like 3-4 weeks, we can't go Hazard up top every single one of those games. It's not going to work every game. This one, it happened to work out. I will say Bournemouth without Ake in the back line, which, Chelsea lone player. I know I'm being a little bit too favorable with Ake, but you really look at their performances recently, he has a lot to do with how well they're doing. Not great, but he's not only scoring goals, but also defensively, he's probably one of the hardest workers they have back there. So you take him out of that, yeah, their defensive line isn't going to be as good as normal. So you could look at it and say, well, that's why we had so much joy up there today. But if you don't have a striker that's going to step in whenever Costa isn't available, what are you going to do? Traore, we had the chance to try to make him that main striker, loaned him out. We had Remy. You could have tried to work him into it. Nope, sold him. You sold all your strikers. You were left with just Costa. You brought in this young potential striker, and now you're not using him at all. And how is he going to get any better if he's not getting game time? How's he going to acclimate to the Premier League and get better in this physical league if you're not giving him the chance to get out there and rough it up with some of the roughest defenders in the world? I don't know. It's kind of, I don't understand it, is my biggest issue. I don't understand the thinking, the logic behind it. Because on the one hand, I've heard Conte say, oh, well, I want to protect him. But on the other hand, all I can think is, if you never play him, then how is that protecting him? Because eventually he's going to get out there, and if he hasn't been playing, yeah, he's probably going to get hurt. So it's actually making it worse for him. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say about this game that I haven't already talked about. Stoke at home is the next one. Looking forward to it because Costa will be back after having gotten a good bit of rest. Conte will be back, which will definitely help. Because, that's one of the things about this game is that Bournemouth did have a lot more chances than most of the teams have been having against us. Mainly because Conte's not in there doing what he does so well. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that game. I feel like it's going to be a good one. Stoke is not a team that's just going to roll over either, so it should be a good overall game to watch. But yeah, the only other thing to talk about is I plan on doing some sort of, I guess, preview video for January, the transfer window, all this stuff there. Just kind of talking about what I think is going to happen, what I think should happen, players that we could bring back, players that we could buy, sell, all that stuff. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it January 1st or if I'm going to do it like December 31st. So just keep an eye out for that. I'm not sure when it'll be here, but yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What did you think about this game? Positives, negatives, all that stuff. Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Chelsea reviews. I'll see you in the next game. Peace out.